Hey y'all, I'm Ryan Devlin and welcome to the Struggle Climbing Show and a wild little experiment over here into the cave of absolute madness with Anna Hazelnutt and myself. I feel like this needs a little bit of an introduction. I think in the future, if we keep doing these, there will be no introduction, but Anna was a guest on the show, as you probably all know, a couple of months ago, and that conversation quickly devolved or perhaps evolved into just wild wackiness, which ended up becoming like an hour-long bonus episode for patrons and subscribers of the show. And we had so much fun talking a little bit about climbing and a lot about everything else, like dirt bagging and how she makes her ends meet and funds climbing trips by selling feet pics on OnlyFans, and just like all sorts of fun, weird, wild, wacky stuff. We had such a good time and we were like, God, that was fun. Let's just do it again. So what this episode here is, Crag Chats with Anna and Ryan, is basically that. It's a little bit of climbing and a lot of everything else and just kind of goofing around and really no structure. And I hope you like it. It was kind of a fun way to just stretch our legs and get outside of the struggle format for a little bit here. And if you did like it, let us know and we'll do more of these. So without further ado, let's jump into this first ever, hopefully first of many, Crag Chats with Anna and Ryan.
I woke up amped. I was like, I'm still ready. And then I was still late. I woke up like so much earlier than this time right now that we were meeting.
Do you typically sleep? It's not, what time is it?
Well, oh yeah, I guess for context, I usually sleep in just like all the way. Like I can just keep sleeping, you know? I'm like one of those people that has to, like I have to set an alarm if I want to wake up in the morning.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like I can just keep sleeping until it's like noon or whatever. Like all my housemates are like, I think I'm gonna do an Anna today and just like sleep in until I can't anymore. And then they still wake up at like 9 or something, and I'm just like here, just like dead asleep until 11.
Oh.
I don't even stay up late. Like I can just like sleep. So yeah, I just have to like set alarms. I set an alarm at 9:30 today. I was like, don't want to miss the podcast at 10:30.
Well, thank you. I'm so jealous of that because I rarely in my life have the option to just sleep, but like when I do, I'm still naturally up at like 6:30.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, like the privilege of my life right now, because I've like set myself up in my work in a way such that I can sleep in, I can navigate my days around climbing. And I don't know, I just feel so like lucky and excited to do that. Like I just have this privilege of time right now that I'm really like not taking for granted. Like I'm just like really enjoying every day. Yeah.
It's so good. You're like a Disney princess right now. There's birds singing around you.
Yes.
We're going to break into song. Oh, this is great. This is actually...
I've been like breaking into song randomly. Yeah, I'm like super happy. I'm like, yeah, like, so I have a YouTube, right? And I decided to go down to bi-weekly posting rather than every week. And it's just like the amount of like, I guess, climb work balance has just gone so far into like the healthy direction. I feel like I'm not like constantly stressed anymore. And like, it's just like been a really awesome few months. Like now, especially because I'm not like super depressed anymore. I think the last time we talked, I mentioned I was like, I'm kind of going through a bit of a depression stint, but like now I'm not. And it's like, I'm very like leveled and I can really enjoy all this time I've created for myself, which started out of necessity because like I was sad. And now I'm like, wow, this is actually working. This is fine. Let me just keep this up and just see how this goes. We'll see. We'll revisit it like later, but
I love this for you because, you know, it's not like you fell into it. I mean, like you just brought so much intentionality to finding what you need and what works. And even just like, because I'm a patron of yours, like I get these little updates that, you know, that you've been posting out from Smith and just being like, you're like, this was a couple weeks ago or something. You were like, I think I'm just going to stay at Smith now for a while, you know, just like you just decided to stay. It's just going well. So you're staying.
Yeah, I was supposed to be here for like 2 days, 3 days. And then I was like, well, let me just extend my flight a week or so. And then, because my initial plan was to go back home to my parents' house where I've been staying for like the last many months to recoup, I guess, to like get healthy. And then I was like, I'll just wait for a weather window at VRG because I've been projecting something at VRG and I was really psyched. So I was like, okay, let me just wait for that. And then I keep looking at the weather app and the VRG just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe I should just stay. And I extended my trip like 50 days.
Yes.
So Smith, 50 days. I don't even have a car. I have like 3 days worth of clothes, you know, like, and I was just like, I'll make it work. It's fine. I can make this work. So I'm just making it work. I had like Evolve send me another pair of shoes because I just busted through one pair and I was like, yeah, like this is fine. Like I can do this. It's so awesome. I can't believe I just can do that, you know?
I love that. The freedom around that is great. And I can just see the lightness on you. Well, I'm excited. I mean, this is like, what a fun, dumb way for us to spend our morning here as on our first of probably 500 Crag Chats with Anna and Ryan. I can already tell this is going to be a Peabody winning award series of what we're about to do here. Should we get into it? Are we going to jump into this thing? Okay. We've scripted 2 lines, just our intro lines. Do you have...
Oh, yeah.
Do you have the script that I sent you?
That's right. Let me get the script that you sent me that is totally here close to me and open soon. There are 2 lines.
Yep.
And I for sure am going to find those 2 lines.
Okay.
Through the messages we've given each other. Yeah. Uh-huh.
We're already nailing it. We're already
doing a really good idea.
Here we go. Welcome to Crag Chats with Anna and Ryan. I'm Anna.
And I'm Ryan. We're serious about climbing, but we don't take ourselves seriously. Cue the music.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, there's no music. This time.
Ryan, that's okay. I've been making music myself. I've been really getting into music generation. So I don't know if you know about this, but I'll just whip something up right now. So what kind of theme do you want for us? Yeah, here, just like what kind of theme do you want for our podcast?
Playful, silly.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Playful, silly, awesome. Okay. Okay. Playful, silly, awesome podcast intro for Anna and Ryan on a climbing podcast.
This is like AI? This is amazing. Yes.
Create. All right. So amazing music is seconds away. Yeah. I've been getting really into AI generated music lately because I have time on my hands and I've been making like climbing diss tracks and shit. Like I'm gonna make a music video out here.
Whatever it is, we don't get whatever this robot kicks out is like we're using it forever. Okay.
Right.
This is it.
Yeah. I even have like a rapper name and everything, and I've just been like creating tracks. I'm like, oh my God, it's so close to being ready. Okay. Yeah, my life has been weird lately. I'm not gonna lie. It's just been like filled with, you know, surprises.
Well, I'm throwing out the rest of the outline that I had for this conversation, and we're only talking about your rapper name now. That's the rest of this Crag Chat.
Okay, so we have 2 options. So this is cool. I'm using Udio, which is one of the newer like AI music generation softwares that I've been playing with. And you basically put in a prompt just like it's ChatGPT or something, right?
Right.
And it'll shoot you out with 2 samples and they'll name it and everything and give you 2 options. And then from there, you can take either of those, both of those, whatever, if you like, and expand them in different ways, give them different prompts and basically make a full song. And you can put the theme. We didn't really give it any like genre here. So I'm really curious as to what it's going to give us. But now we have 2.
Now I feel like if we have 2, we should let the people decide which.
That's right. Okay. That's right? Smart. Okay. The first one's called by AI. It's called The Ascent Chronicles.
Yes. It's already better than the Crag Chats with Anna and Ryan.
Okay. Let me know if you can hear this. I'm going to play the first one.
Grab your gear. It's time to soar. Time to climb. Anna and Ryan got the roots to adore. Scaling walls with holes galore. Cheeky banter, laughs and more. So don't be scared of the height you're in. Gripping tight, feel your heart's wild spin.
Holy
I figured
shit. That just blew my mind. it created a whole song about climbing and used our names. And I think they said holes galore.
I have no idea what AI is on. Wait, let me pull up the lyrics because it gives you the lyrics too. Grab your gear, it's time to soar. On and Ryan got the routes to adore, scaling walls with holds galore. Cheeky banter, laughs, and more. Don't be scared of the height you're in, gripping tight for your heart's wild spin. Those are the lyrics that AI came up with. And it was pretty like playful. That is not
the greatest song that I have ever heard in my life.
You haven't heard my rap songs yet. Like, I'm literally about to release an album like on my YouTube with like music videos. I was just thinking just like a bunch of whips. Just whip, whip, whip. Power scream. Whip, whip, whip.
Holy shit. This is blowing my mind. Okay, so now we have a theme. I'm so glad I didn't come up with a theme song because now we have a theme song.
Well, we need to play the second sample. So
let's hear the second one.
Up we climb, grabbing holds on this rocky spree. Laughter fills, it's Anna and Ryan C. Scaling walls, a duo, so free. They'll say it's fine, way up the line.
It like lost its own track. It kind of fell apart like midway through.
Yeah, it like definitely like AI is hit or miss. That's why they give you 2. I feel like I'm gonna run some back with like Anna spelled A-N-A because they might pronounce it right, and then we can get back to that later. But I feel like we,
I mean, the first one nailed it. I think.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, if you want to be particular about the pronunciation of your name, then...
You know what? I don't need to be. We can do Anna. That's fine. It's a fun fact is that I identify very much with both because my mom throughout my childhood called me Anna and my dad calls me Anna. So I just go with my mom's pronunciation because it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like the Spanish, like the Mexican pronunciation, like Ana, Anita. And then my dad goes back. He's like confused now, like, because I tell all my friends to call me Anna and they're like, a lot of them are white because like climbing. And he's like, oh, they're saying Anna. Should I say Anna? So he goes back and forth between saying Anna and Anna, which is funny. But like, I grew up with both, so.
Like, way to mess with your dad's head is like, this many years in, like, hey, you've been saying my name wrong all this time.
Imagine that. Well, I think they just never agreed from the get-go, like my mom has like she doesn't even have an accent, but I think like, just like we speak a lot of Spanish at the house. And so maybe it's like associated with when we speak Spanish, it's Ana. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's confusing.
I always wonder about that, like about even just like locations in the world where the native people pronounce it one way and then like, I would pronounce it a different way. And I'm like, well, mate, I should probably be trying to pronounce it the way they, pronounce it, right? It's interesting. Like,
yeah.
Do we change our accent, if you will, or our pronunciation to fit a different one? Or does that sound like we're just like trying hard and failing at sounding native?
I think it's a person by person thing because like when I went to the UK and lived there for a while, like their accent sounds like Anna, so it's kind of like in between. It's not Anna, it's not Anna, it's not American, it's Anna, and so for me it felt like a different pronunciation. So I had no problem with it. Like I didn't even correct people. And I remember I was like climbing with Tom for a while before like Kim, his ex-wife, was like, Anna, like, is it Anna or Anna? And I was like, oh, and I'm like, I guess you can say the other one in your British accent too. And I'm like, it's the other one. And they're like, have we been pronouncing your name wrong this whole time? And I was like, well, like, I guess, but I didn't think anything of it because you have an accent. So it like, for me, I just like, I didn't even think about correcting it. And I've like gone on so many, like YouTube channels, podcasts where they're just saying like, I'm here with Anna Hazelnutt. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, that's how you say my name. And then other people think then they take that and then in American, they say, oh, it's Anna. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's wrong.
Right.
So, like it's just like interesting.
I think
I don't know.
There's just something very, I find something like very attractive about accents that aren't the American accent. So it's like any other accent can do no wrong to me. But then like if something's like in American and it sounds wrong, I'm like, oh no, that doesn't sound right. Now, maybe it's just because like I have an American accent, but like I'm so enamored with British accents and Irish accent, like Eastern European accents and Australian, like whatever. It's like, just say more words. I love hearing them. But then I hear something, you know, in like American, I'm just like, nah, that's boring.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it goes all ways, doesn't it? Like, I think people liked my accent in the UK because I was so American. I was like, howdy.
Right.
I just like use it, abuse it, you know? And I'm like using y'all a lot. And
yeah, you're
I
a
thought that was
cartoon
really
character
funny.
all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You're like you're foghorn leghorn. Oh, y'all.
Yeah, especially like in Wales. Oh yeah. Go on. Are we trying to direct this somewhere?
I don't know. I mean, it's like, I think like my first note was like, okay, let's just like try to keep it on the rails a little bit, but like obviously that's not going to happen. There's no keeping anything on the rails here. I think what we might want to do is just introduce what our intention is with this kind of show. Does that make sense?
I feel like that's a really good idea. I feel like we haven't talked at all about what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, I mean, we're like 15
I'm
minutes
sorry, I just
I'm like, what the hell's going on? When are they going to talk about finger strike? We're not.
That's not this. This is beyond the belay. We are.
What did the song title it? Something Ascents with Anna and Ryan?
Yeah, it titled it The Ascent Chronicles.
The Ascent Chronicles. So that's actually probably false advertising. We're probably not going to be chronicling many ascents on this.
No.
It's probably going to be more like a descent into madness as we just try to have a conversation. So really what this sprang from is you and I had a struggle climbing show interview a little while ago, and then had like a 1 hour bonus episode where we just it went off the rails and we were just talking and laughing and talking about your dirt bagging and your feet and like all these crazy things. And people loved that so much. They were like, I want to hear more of that. And so here we are trying to recapture that madness and magic in a bottle and just basically having a fucking laugh, you know, once a month and talking about whatever. So I'm excited about it because I usually have to get like super serious and into struggle and into like training and all this stuff. And like I think we can talk about climbing stuff because we're climbers and we love climbing.
I was going to say it.
You know,
it's not like that stuff is like off topic. Like we can.
Right.
I'm really excited to just like have a catch up with you and I too, just about climbing and shoot the shit and talk about what's happening in the climbing world as well. I think that would be fun.
Let's do that.
Because we're climbers, like that's natural. But yeah, I'm so excited that it's just a more loose, free form conversation. I feel like with how my attention span works, like that works way better for me than something like trying to stay to a script. I feel like I just bounce around in ideas. Like I came in here and I was like, let me show you this thing you've never heard of. And that's the beginning of our podcast.
And it's like the best. It's like it couldn't have gone any better. And for me, it's like super liberating too, because I work so hard on the podcast and I plan and then I really edit, like, and you obviously are a creator and you're in YouTube and like, you know how much work editing is. And the intention for this is like no editing. Like I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to, you know, if we mess something up or what, like it's just all going to stay because I don't want to go back and I just want to have fun. Like the whole thing here is just like, let's talk about whatever we want to talk about for an hour and then we'll do it again in a month. So I'm excited to be kind of freed of the pressures and the constraints of like trying to create something that's like super structured and, you know, has like an arc to it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see what the people say. Is there a place where they can like respond to and comment with us? That would be fun.
Yeah,
you know, like
if you have anything that you want to say, just straight to Anna's YouTube comments. Just dive in.
Yeah. Go there, ask us questions that you want us to answer next time. Wouldn't that be fun? And then
we'll put the little videos up on our Patreons, and then I mean, you know, people can hit us up on Instagram and let us know thoughts. But yeah, I think it'd be super fun. I love that idea, like answer questions and things. But I like your idea too about just like getting an update on our climbing. So I'd love to hear what's been going on with you out at Smith. What you've been projecting out there? Obviously,
man.
you sent to Bolt or Not to Be, and is it Just Do It that you're working on right now?
Oh man, not yet. Soon. I actually did hop on it the other day with my friend who came from Canada. It was so fun, and I was able to do all the moves. I was so excited, and I came back and I was like, I did all the moves, and then it got, I know, right? And then it got too cold again, and I was like, well, okay, so it's like not monkey like time right now. It's like the weather keeps going like up, down, and it's actually really hard to project anything because the weather is so sporadic in the spring. So I have not been projecting actually. I mean, like, actually, can you define project?
No.
I know it sounds simple, but like, what do you mean by projecting?
I mean,
do you know what I
for
mean?
me, and look, I'm a weekend warrior, so like almost
Right.
everything I do is a project because it just like takes me a long time to get through something. But for me, like projecting is like something that's going to take multiple days. And then for me, like a mega project is something that's like where I'm trying to punch into like a new grade, and I know it's going to take like a season or longer. But that's just like, I don't know if that's like rooted in any sort of actual vernacular.
Yeah, so I've been micro projecting to like regular projecting, but not mega projecting. Does that kind of make sense? Like anything that, like, I think the thing that took me the most sessions is like 3 sessions. Like, and for me, since I'm like just here, living here, it's just like, I don't know, it's really cool because I just get to like revisit a climb. Like that one, I like, it's in kind of in the main area, and it gets really hot in the sun, and so like I can only go on a cold day. So if it's a cold day, I'll be like, oh, like maybe I'll try this one, you know. And then if it's not, it's like another week goes by and I don't touch it, and then I come back and I'm like, oh yeah, let's. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's not weekend warrioring it because I'm just at the park all the time and whenever I want to be. But at the same time, it is kind of like, it's been nice having this really flexible schedule where I don't actually expect anything from myself. I'm just playing. Like I'm playing with the rock. Like nothing I've touched so far, except for maybe one that I'm maybe starting to mega project on, but that's like it's at the beginning where it's like it still hasn't been more than 3 sessions. But like, it's everything's like there's no question mark. I'm like, oh, like cool, like I'll be able to do this soon. Like I don't know when, but like at some point, you know what I mean? Like I get all the moves right away, and then I'm like, okay, it's just a matter of like how many attempts now. It's not like, am I gonna do like it's not like mentally or emotionally stressful for me, and I find that really lovely. It's a new like way to experience the rock that I didn't really get last season because I was so focused on to bolt, and it was really tumultuous for me, like emotionally. So that's what I've been up to. It's amazing, like building out my pyramid, feeling really confident on harder grades and getting them quicker than ever before. I'm feeling great, Ryan.
That sounds lovely. All of that sounds so lovely. Because the challenge level is hard enough where you have to try. Like you have to, you know, tactics need to be dialed, and you have to be fit, and you have to like execute. But to your point, it's not so hard where you're like having frequent existential breakdowns on whether this thing's gonna actually ever happen, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, totally. And like there was this one climb that I totally accidentally sent it. And what I mean by that is like I didn't really have the beta figured out, and then I was like a little over gripped. I was like yelling, you know, and it was so fun. It was like that, like, you know, when you tap into just like, I'm just gonna try hard because let's go. And like, it was just like, I forgot what it was like to try really freaking hard on something that you kind of know you're gonna be able to do. Especially like, I knew if I waited like a few sessions and I just top roped it more, like I could have done it. Like, I guess like the experience would have been different, right? It would have been like flowy, and this was not flowy. This was like desperate and latching, and I thought that was so fun. And then there was another climb that had like really big like traditional Smith runouts that I was quite scared of, and I like thought, oh, let me just like, I'll thrash through it, you know what I mean? And then I was like, no, actually this one I'm gonna take more time, and I flowed up it, and I get to like choose almost like what kind of adventure I want with the climbs without having like, this like existential crisis, like what you're saying. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm just choosing my experience on like at a climb by climb basis.
I love that. I really dig that. I think out of necessity, I'm probably going to be shifting into that season anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, it's getting warm here in Kentucky, and to, I think, kind of a phase that you're in right now, which I'm psyched on because I don't have much of a pyramid, and I've been so focused on this project for the last like 6 months that I think it could be really good for me to just go out and, I don't know, climb some like mid 12s that maybe I could do in a session or 2, or maybe at the most like 3 sessions, and just like feel what it feels like to clip chains again, you know, and like get to the top of things.
Oh, exactly that. Yeah, like I realized I haven't clipped many chains aside from like literal warm-ups for like my projects.
Right.
And it's been so nice. And I've been missing out on this whole part of the experience for a while now because I kind of forgot that was part of the climbing experience for like a year or something. I've just been like going from project to project, which is cool, you know, pushing myself. But yeah, you're going to have so much fun. It's so nice to like feel, I don't know if it's like a ego boost too or a self-esteem boost. Maybe self-esteem boost is a better phrase for it because you just feel like, oh my gosh, like I can do this thing, I can accomplish it. I felt so good. Like you never really feel over gripped. I don't know. It's like, it's a good mentality. I feel like it's really important to have those moments too, to give yourself like a little break and just enjoy like what you've gained from that process of projecting something that's really hard. Cause like you gain so much from that. And also I find that when you project something like over and over and over again, you get really strong maybe on that project, but I feel like for me, at least here, I get like pretty weak generally, just like as a climber, because I'm like used to those moves and I get really efficient at doing those moves. But then like you try to do anything that's like a different style or a different climb even, and it's just like, oh God, like I forget how to climb. So by like rotating through, I was talking to one of my climbing partners here, Mary, about it. I was like, I feel like I'm just gonna get weak if I'm here for a long time. And she's like, you've been rotating through so many climbs. She's like, you're gonna not be getting weak. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, but like I haven't done anything overhanging, you know? And she's like, what do you like? I love Mary so much. She's like, but aren't all your projects and goals like this level, like of this steepness anyways? She's like, aren't you just like better preparing yourself for like all of your future projects? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh, I guess none of my objectives are super overhanging. So like, yeah, I guess I'm just doing exactly the perfect thing to prepare for my future projects.
Yes.
So like, it's nice to have that reminder, you know?
And are you going to the gym at all, or is this all out in the park?
I went to the gym yesterday because it rained, but that was the first time in a few months. Yeah, I'm just outside. It's so nice to, oh my gosh, can I talk about fear for a second? Because like, I usually struggle a lot with fear, and I think it's because like, yeah, the last year I've just been like projecting, and it's, you know, you get really confident on one route and maybe you don't have fear when you send that climb depending, but like you don't really like get fall practice on a lot of different, like a variety of climbs. And right now I'm just like, I'm calling it like flying practice. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel super perfectly okay trying really hard above a bolt and then taking a whip. And yeah, it's like, I don't know, I get scared here and there and I'm like, oh no, I'm getting scared. And then I'll look down and I'm like, I'm going to take the whip, you know, and I just do it and it's fun. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like I've not experienced this level of confidence of falling and just like comfort on the wall in a really long time. And I think a lot of that is to do with just the fact that I'm outside all the time. Like what a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm psyched.
That is so good. I mean, I think that's definitely a recurring theme that comes up on the show as I talk to athletes of any kind of skill level, is just the head game that comes into play, particularly above a bolt. And, you know, as soon as you're thinking about like, how is this fall going to be, you're certainly not thinking about making the perfect move. And it's just really hard I went through a huge fear of falling phase when I moved from being a trad climber out west to being this like sport climber on overhang at the Red. And it just took a long time to get to the point where like I could climb up, you know, now I skip bolts but like still certain days I'll get out there and I'll be like totally gripped. And so it's like fear is such this like interesting thing that's not always predictable, but I think like the more you just kind of within a reasonable zone can expose yourself to it, you just get more and more used to it. I guess, I don't know, I'm not probably like verbalizing it the way that I want, but it sounds like this time that you're spending doing this, like you're pushing yourself hard, but it's not limit projecting. So you're willing to take these falls without there being a whole lot of emotion wrapped up into it. It seems like that's just become like kind of that healthy place for you to work through fear.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. And also I'm sure like, because it's Smith, you know, like I'm getting used to Smith Rock, like the climbs here. And I'm sure if I went somewhere like the Red, I'd have to like kind of cycle through that again and be like, okay, this is overhanging. Like, how do I deal with this sphere? Because I feel like it is quite different. But like, at least for Smith Rock and most of the climbs here, it is cool to see that fear just totally almost completely disappear, really. Unless it's like, one of those like fucked runouts, which like, happens every now and then. I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's not something I want. That's not the experience I want,
But now how I took falls because, I had climbed like vert and slab and stuff back, like when I started climbing. And so I was very used to kind of getting spiked and catching myself. And then now being out at the red for so long, almost every fall is just like into air because it's all so overhung. So like the falls are they're kind of scary in theory because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to fall away from the rock. But like you almost never you never spike, right? Like you almost never kind of hit into the wall. But I haven't climbed out at Smith, and I feel like a lot of those falls, like there's potential to like mess up your ankles and stuff, right?
Oh, for sure. You just need good belayers, like who know how to catch soft. Yeah, I've been spiked a few times recently. I kind of like shuffle through belay partners just because it's like who's available, and like sometimes it's they're complete strangers. And yeah, I've definitely been spiked, and it really sucks because like you just hit your ankle and knee, and yeah, I think that's not great. But if you have a good belayer who knows to jump, and especially like I'm a little lighter, so I often like need to remind the people I'm climbing with, like, you really need to jump. Like you're gonna, like you need to jump for me. Like I'm quite light. Like you're not gonna be able to just like get away with not jumping. So yeah, it's definitely a learning process. And if I had my choices all of the time, like if I had I don't know, maybe a regular climbing partner, I think that would really help actually with my fear as well. Not that, like it's fine. It's just taking a little longer to get here, to be comfortable with like random people and knowing that they might spike me and still not being scared. That's like,
totally. Yeah, but that communication is so key. Like just being able to say that to somebody before you pull onto your route is like, this is, how I like to be caught, and watch me in this section because I can see there's a ledge or, whatever. Just like being able to communicate in that way is something that I think a lot of climbers, we have a lot on our minds when we tie in before we pull on, and not often is it like wanting to communicate with the belayer about how we want to be caught or how we want to be supported. Like I like a lot of positivity, like you're doing great, you're looking really good, and like some people don't like that. They want it quiet. So like just having like a little like, 1-to-1 for 30 seconds before pulling on, I feel like is a great way to go, but often something that I forget until like I'm on the route. And then I'm like, oh God, why didn't I tell them that I like this thing or that thing?
It's so funny because like I definitely I feel like I tell people that all the time. Like I feel like I'm like, hey, okay. Because I do come from being a little more scared generally. And so I'm like used to it, but I'm like, okay, like make sure you give me some soft buttery catches. That looks hard up there. Like, or if I know the climb, I'm like, I hear the cruxes at the top. So, just like loose, keep me real loose. Like give me a really soft catch. I'd rather fall really far and have a soft catch rather than get spiked on the wall.
That's nice. I recall, I think it was in the Princip film that you did where Tom said it was like the best catch he's ever gotten. You caught Tom and like he fell 10,000 feet, but it was like soft and but like he was like super soft. He was like so psyched on the catch. So you must have given a nice little jump at the end there.
The funny thing is that like part of it is because I also weigh less than Tom, so like it's like easier to catch him. But I also am used to climbing with women and like smaller guys that are about like my size anyways, so I'm used to jumping a lot. So I think like I just jumped a lot when Tom fell, like more so than he was probably like used to, because I think maybe his climbing partners like they're not like doing that. I don't know, but it was just really funny because it was like an extra soft catch because I forgot that our weight difference was really like it's quite substantial, because Tom's like pretty thin, like he's a small guy but he's tall, he's like 6 feet tall. And so I'm like, oh, he's thin, I'm thin, like, oh, this will be fine. And then I just didn't realize like it's actually quite a few pounds between us. And so I'm like jumping and then he's like flying me up.
So I just talked to Tom like, I don't know, 4 days ago, and something, I don't know if I'm a dummy or if this is like a conspiracy theory that just never has been like outed, but are you aware in England, Great Britain, the UK, the whole general area,
the whole thing,
do you know what measurement system they use?
Yeah.
What measurement system do they use?
they don't use just one. For like distances, they use miles and shit, and then they use like pounds, but then like they use like milliliters.
Yeah.
And
yeah. What
and
the
then they use
fuck?
Celsius. They don't use Fahrenheit. They're a clusterfuck like the U.S. is too. That we are too. Like like I ran track in high school. We use meters. What the heck?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Okay.
We're all over the place. We can't be shitting on them too much.
Well, no,
like,
I was gonna
pretty
say-
bad.
I just feel like, so first of all, this blew my mind because I thought they were fully metric. I thought the U.S. were the only dummies that were on the imperial system with like inches and miles and all that, because like none of it makes sense. So 5,280 feet in a mile.
No,
like, who's following this shit? And then, the metric system just makes so much sense. And like I use lattice, and in lattice it's always like centimeters and kilograms, but he said that they basically just do that because everybody else does it. I didn't know like they're basically as messed up as we are over here.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. Like, why are we so? Because I was trying to talk to him about how tall he was, and I'm like, I was just like making some joke about him being like 18 stones tall or whatever, because it's all like, totally fucked up.
Yeah.
And he's like, Ryan, no, we use inches. And I'm like, no, you don't. And so he and I started arguing about what system they use. And then it like, I guess you lived there, so you knew, but I just never knew this. Anyway, I digress.
No, that's funny because I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, did they use kilometers per hour? And I'm like, I don't remember now, because I also spent a lot of time in Europe where they definitely use kilometers per hour. But
He said they use miles for distance, but they also use kilograms, I think, for weight.
Yeah, they do. They definitely use kilograms for weight. But they also use, no, they don't use stone too much, but they have it. But they use kilograms definitely for like weights and stuff. Because all at the gyms, all the weights are like in kilograms. Yeah.
Anyway, hey, you know what we should talk about in terms of kilograms and milligrams?
Yeah, we should.
Our sponsor of Hazelnuts with Anna and Ryan. Boulder Bear, you got
Yes,
Boulder Bears
sir.
now?
I do. I even have the little thingy they sent me.
So we're not even cutting to ads, you guys. I'm not even going to edit and add it, but we do have a sponsor of our Crag Chat here, and it's Boulder Bears caffeinated gummy bears. Oh my God. I mean, I just want to talk about this for a second, because these are like my favorite little thing ever right now. Because I don't know, are you like a Crag hacker? I'm like, I crush candy when I'm at the Crag, and so now this is caffeinated candy, so it's just like that much cooler for me.
It's good. And at first I was like looking at the serving size, right? And I'm like, 5 gummies. And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect. Because each gummy is like 20 milligrams of caffeine? Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. Because you don't want like one gummy to be like a cup of coffee, like 100. Like, you don't want that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to just be like, boom. like for me, at least at the Crag, like you just want a little hit, like a little like.
Yes. Yeah, you just like that.
And then you
bump.
gotta eat more candy. Yeah, a little bump. Exactly. No, I love these. They're great. I'm so glad you sent them over. I was like, yeah, send those.
Yeah,
Let me
it's really
try
rad.
those.
They're a small company. I know the owner, and I just like, you know what I like about this? Because I think this fits really well with just like this wild experiment, podcast that we're doing right now, which is just, there's a playfulness to a caffeinated gummy bear that just fits well with like the fun and the joy that we get out of climbing. Like, it doesn't always have to be about like, what is the best, most optimized, yada, yada. I mean, I actually think like performance-wise, this makes a lot more sense because, to eat 5 of these gummies is the same as having a Red Bull, but you don't have all that liquid sloshing around in your stomach when you're trying to climb and all that. So I actually think like, practically speaking, these do make sense, but there's also just like, it's fun.
It's really funny that you say that, because so I have to like almost entice myself to remember to snack between climbs when I'm outside. And I have this rule where I have to eat every 2 climbs, like some kind of snack. Like, because I still have that inner child comes outside a lot. Like I am a child sometimes. And so like, I'll only be like incentivized to eat food if it's in like fun shapes. So like in my house, like everyone knows this about me. So I have like dinosaur chicken nuggets and alphabet chicken nuggets in the fridge. I have like fun little like bite-sized snacks that are different little like bite-sized shapes, that I'll eat. And it's really funny that you mentioned that, because I was like, oh yeah, no wonder I like these. They're little fun bears. Like, and I'm at the Crag, and I was like, okay, I did 2 climbs. I have to remember. I'm gonna sit down and eat like this fun little shaped I made in the morning, and then I don't know. This sounds weird.
No, this is great. I mean, this is like, I made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for my kids today before I sent them off to school, and I cut my daughters into a heart, and then I cut my son into a cube for like, because he's like super into Minecraft right now. And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like fun shaped foods. I had dino veggie nuggets for lunch just before you and I connected here. And so, yeah, I was like ripping the heads off of some elephants and some dolphins before we
It's fun.
had our Crag Chat. And yeah, this kind of just falls into that camp. You guys can learn more by like hitting the link in the podcast notes and all that stuff. They're called Boulder Bears. You can swing by the struggleclimbing.com/Boulder Bears. And, you know, I did this thing a couple of weeks ago. This was after we last chat. Read in a day where I needed to do 31 pitches in a day, like Red River Gorge. And it was like
That's right.
really
You did
intense.
that with me.
I wonder
Yeah.
how I got injured. And so, like, what was great is like I would have one of these an hour, and so like it was just like enough
yeah.
focus and energy and boost just to kind of keep me going through the 10-hour day. Whereas, you know, if I'm going to go like try to like rip holds off the moonboard or something like that, like I'll take 5 and I'll just be like, let's fucking rage, you know. So you can just kind of you dose them, you know, like as you need it. Whereas if you're having coffee or something like that, it's a little bit harder to dial it in. So yeah, they're doing a cool thing. I like them.
Yeah, I like they sent this to me with like a really nice message too. It was really cute, like a handwritten note. And also I like their like all flash, no crash. I think that's great. It's like written over the top. Did you see that?
Yeah. Dig it.
That's funny.
Totally.
Yeah, that's great. No, I love this too. And I have a lot of energy, psych, I should say. I have a lot of psych climbing. So like a lot of my days recently, because I'm doing like a little bit lower level climbing for myself, like, you know, just for my body, I'm climbing like 10 hours, like kind of like you, like that's like a normal day. Like I was like not doing 31 pitches, but you know, like I'm like climbing all day.
Yeah.
And it's really nice just, to have that little kick, because I'm still so psyched, but then my body gets tired. And that's why I also make sure I eat between climbs, like every 2 climbs. So I can just like keep climbing throughout the whole day.
Yeah, I
so
like
it's
that
like,
tip.
yeah.
I like that. I like the you have a rule every 2 climbs you need to eat something. So like even if you're not hungry, you're like, whatever, I got to eat something.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but even if it's just like a bite of a bar or something, like
Right.
if I don't, I'll just crash. And I think so, like exercise is a hunger depressant. So I think like even if you're not feeling hungry, you can definitely like your body probably still needs fuel. And sometimes it's like weird because like the first time it's always hard because it's like I've just done 2 warm-ups, you know, like I don't feel like I need to eat. But then like without fail, I will crash and just like kind of like just lose steam in the day and not be able to like perform as much as I want to if I'm not constantly fueling. And I know this about my body too, and I know that I have a tendency to like not like I just forget that I need to eat, and that's not like good if you're an athlete. Like you definitely need to refuel, and if I don't do that, the next day I wake up like a train hit me, you know what I mean? Like I wake up just like totally depleted, and by the end of the day, I don't know if you've ever felt this, but like you just feel like your muscles are empty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that feeling. And so like just to try to combat that while it's happening, if I eat throughout the day, like I have better recovery, I climb better throughout the day. Like it's just there's so many benefits that I'm just like I have to do this. Like this is so important for my happiness and longevity.
Yeah, totally. I just had a conversation with Tom Herbert, Useful Coach, and he was talking a lot about like essentially eating kind of way more than I would have ever wrapped my head around before and after a session. Not for that session, but so that 2 days later you don't bonk. Basically, like he's like talking about how like there's could be this real lag where like, yeah, you could go into a session fasted and perform well and like nail it. But then a day or 2 days later, you're just gonna like feel like you were hit by a truck. And that's because you didn't fuel 2 days prior. You like, it's like catching up to you essentially. And I hadn't really thought about it that way, but looking back, I can see that, like when I've wanted to just like stay like really light and no, I don't want to weigh down my stomach when I'm out, but then like the next day or the day after, I'm like totally wrecked. And it's because, you know, I wasn't eating throughout my big climb day. So
Oh yeah.
good tip.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Let's talk about feet. There's no segue for this, Anna.
I am
let's
so glad you asked.
This is why the people are here anyway. We've made them sit through 45 minutes of jingles and
climbing.
climbing.
Let me talk.
Of falling, and they're like, give me the feet. So here we are. So obviously we talked about this in our last chat, your OnlyFans, and I released like a reel. You and I did like a reel on it. It like got like 100,000, views. People want to know what's like where you're at with your feet biz right now. So
Yes.
give them and give me the update.
So I'm really glad you asked, because after that amazing advertisement, I went up to the top 7% of earners on OnlyFans.
What? Are you serious?
I'm completely serious.
Let's go. We're doing it.
I think the top is really stretched out, because obviously there's people making like do you know how much people can make on OnlyFans per month? Do you know what the top earner is making?
No, tell me, please.
Can I just quickly,
Yes.
top earner on OnlyFans. Do you want to give a guess though? Because I think this is funny.
I mean,
Like,
these are
you'll
people
just-
who like sell their pee or what, like their bath water.
Like,
These
yeah,
are
like just
porn
like
stars and stuff like that.
so
Monthly?
yeah.
So the top monthly per month. I mean, this is like Mr. Beast level or something like that, right? So maybe I don't know, $200,000 per month.
So it's comical how far off that is. Are you ready? Are you ready
Wow,
for this?
What? Yeah.
According to supercreator.app, former model Black China, whose real name is Angela White, is the highest reported earner on OnlyFans, making around $20 million per month.
No. What?
I'm telling you.
$20 million a month?
Yep.
What did she's selling? She's not just selling feet pics. She's selling more than feet pics. 20 million.
She's selling more than feet pics, confirmed. So like that's like
7%. You're right up for
that's like all the way up there, and then like way down here, like there's like this tiny little, and I'm like 7. But I was dying laughing. I got more like subscribers to my account than ever before, and like just now, because so what it is, I think it's an opt-in subscription. So like every month they have to re-opt in, right? So I think it's been about a month from that happening. So I lost actually quite a few like who didn't like re-up like literally today. Like it's like, I don't know, something about like I checked it today because I knew we were going to talk about it. So like, let me just like get my stats up. I dropped down to like the top 14%. I was like, shit. And I was like, it's a good thing I'm talking with Ryan today, because we're going to bring up feet, and I'm about to like get so many more subscribers. You guys, so let me tell you, like feet, outside, inside. Like what more do you, climbing, feet. It's great. Like I have high arches. Remember we talked about that. I don't know what else they want. I'm not in their minds, but it's a it's good. From a route, like I'm dangling from the monkey. If I get like 10 more subscribers from this episode, I will bring my phone up, just do it, when I go on Thursday, because that's when the others start to, go. And I will take a freaking video of my feet dangling from the top of one of North America's most famous I don't know, like one of the first ones. It's, I think Necessary Evil's the first one. But anyways, a very historical.
Was it? No, just do it.
Was it? What was the first? It's AC Plus, isn't it? Wait, okay, what?
No.
Is
Oh, no,
the
I'm sorry.
first 14th
was
seat in
Necessary Evil?
America. I think it was Necessary Evil.
No, I think it was
Wait.
Just Do It. I mean, I think it was Just Do It, yeah.
Was it?
Sharma
Oh,
did
man.
Necessary Evil.
Sharma did Necessary Evil.
But the French guy, Gilles Tribou, did Just Do It.
Did Just Do It, I guess. Oh man, can we not
Doesn't matter,
find
we're
this?
talking
Are
about
you
feet.
looking? We're
Feet.
talking about feet. Okay.
So
Anyways.
look, we're gonna get those numbers up when this airs. We're gonna get those numbers up. But
Yes.
here's the thing. Here's a little bit of a potential hitch in your master plan. Let me share my screen for a second here.
Am I gonna see? Oh my God! Look at you.
So
And to be the bio, holy shit! You even have your feet in your profile picture. That is visionary. I've got to up my game. What are you putting
So-
your subscription at?
So
What's
I don't
your
know.
price?
I need you to coach me through this live right now. So what people can't see, if you're a patron, you can see the video right now. I'm screen sharing my OnlyFans profile because I'm totally going to get canceled. This is going to be like the end of my podcasting career, my short-lived podcasting career. I put out. So you and I had this conversation. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be I want to make money as a podcaster. I don't want to have a real job, but I have bills to pay. And so, you know, I took a look at my arches and they're pretty fucking good, right? I got some pretty good arches. I don't know if they're high arches, but they're good, all right? They're just good quality arches. And
what?
and so you were like, yeah, you should do it. But so then I put out this thing. I put out a thing on Instagram, like a survey. I was like, okay, if I do an OnlyFans to compete with Anna, will you give me your money or will I get canceled? And 74% of people said they'd give me their money. So 26% said I'd get canceled. And so it's still a gamble. Like I might get canceled for like trying to
get canceled. Yeah.
Lose money. But so like, I haven't published this yet. So what we're looking at right now is my OnlyFans profile that I set up, but I haven't published because I still don't know if it's a good idea.
Right. I think, so I was in this position like a year ago, right? And I was like, oh my God, is this going to ruin my sponsor's career? Like, what's this going to do? I think I even talked to Tom about it and he was like, don't do it. He's like, it's not worth it. Like, what if you lose some sponsors? So Tom, okay, wait, we all know Tom, right?
Right.
He is not the one that, like, his advice is usually like, go for it, do it, like, whatever, fuck him. Like, if you know Tom, this is, like, so out of character. So I, like, literally had to step back and be like, oh, my God, like, Tom is trying to advise me against this. That's, like...
Right.
If he listens, he's not gonna listen. If he hears this, he's gonna give me so much shit for that. But, like, he's, like, filled with bad ideas, you know? So, like, and good ones. Obviously, he has so many companies, you know, that goes without saying. But also, you should hear some of his ideas, right? And I'm like, really? Is it that bad of an idea? And then I decided that it was too funny just to not do it and not to try to do it. And then I actually messaged my friend who's, like, my athlete rep at a company. I was like, would this, like, affect my sponsorship? And basically, I think all of my managers were just, like, laughing at it because they know I'm pretty ridiculous. Like, the way I talk to you and, like, to my YouTube audience is the same way I talk in my business meetings. I'm all like, okay, no cap, I kind of want, like, more money though. Like, that's how I'll ask for more money. Like, it's not, I do not put on a business, like, persona at all. Like, I've definitely had friends, like, overhear business meetings where they're just like, who were you talking to? I'm like, oh, my boss, like the CEO of the company. And they're like, what? I'm like, look, they're not paying me to be a fucking business person. I'm a climber. You know what I mean? I'm a content creator. Like, I get shit done. Like, it's fine. It's professional enough. Like, I don't know. I feel like they know what they're in for. Like, you know, otherwise they wouldn't be supporting me. So, yeah. So anyways, long tangent. But yeah, I decided to do it. And, like, I was so shocked with the amount of positive responses I got and how, like, literally no one was, I don't know, upset or trying to pull me down from it. And everyone was, like, really positive on my Instagram and everyone was really supportive. And then everyone just thought it was also fucking funny and people couldn't tell if it was a joke or not. And it was just great. I don't know. It was like the reception, I was bracing myself for the worst reception ever. Yeah. And I just totally got away with it. So anyways,
that's maybe where I protect myself is like, okay, look, I'm doing this just to try to beat you. And that's where now I'm going to have all
you can hide behind that.
Yeah. But now
you're like, she's the one actually doing it. Yeah.
I know, like, she needs it. She's like a climber, you know, like, you're like, you got a house, you know, I don't know. It's still, but that's why I'm saying I'm going to do it for charity. I feel like whatever money I raise on my OnlyFans feet page, I'll give, you know, maybe it's like Access Fund or something like that. And I'll give half of it to Access Fund and then half of it I will invest in pedicures and, like, having my bunions filed off. So, you know, so that the feet folks can, I don't know.
No, for sure. I love that. I love giving to Access Fund. I actually do donate every month. I think they're great. I don't know. I just thought I would mention that. I think that's a great way for climbers at least to help give back. Yeah.
I'll create my own charity and it'll just be like some big, like, shell game and I'll probably get taken down by, you know, some investigative reporter that, you know, because I'm like,
does a whole docuseries.
Yeah, exactly. On my feet.
Like a whole Netflix docuseries on it.
Well, let's go through this in case I actually do want to publish this. So by the time this comes out, I'll decide if I want to publish this or not. So the thing that I need to, so the bio is only feet pics for charity and to beat Anna Hazelnutt at her own game. So that's the challenge. Do you know how many fans you have? I have 0, obviously.
No, let me look. I got up to like 36 or something last month.
That
I
is not
know.
going to be easy for me to.
Yeah. I know. It's like, it sounds like a small number, but like if you do the math, you know, right now, okay. This is what I'm saying. I lost a lot because they didn't resubscribe. I don't know, man. It was my feet were, I was on form. I don't know why they didn't subscribe back, you know, but I guess it doesn't, like, you have to resubscribe.
That's
So I think it's an
ridiculous. There's got to
opt-in.
be a thing. There's got to be a setting that you. All of these things work on people just automatically
I
being
know.
controlled.
So
right?
maybe they actively disengaged then. But whatever it is, I
Well, they were
have
intrigued.
22 now.
We sent a lot of
Yeah.
people over there to check it. It's like I have a
Yeah.
free trial on Patreon. You probably do too. People come in, they check it out. If it's for them, they stick around. If they're like, yeah, I got those arches weren't for me. I like low arches. You know,
I
then they,
low, flat feet.
by the way, if you like arches that aren't as good as Anna's, you should come over and check out mine because I'm sure my arches aren't as good as Anna's. So here's the thing: I need to set a price. We've
Yeah.
lost the entire
So-
audience by now. Thank you for the 7 people who are still listening to this episode. How much should I charge for people to come in and just see pictures of my feet? This is so fucking sweet.
So per month, I guess the minimum is $5. That's the lowest you can charge. And like, oh man, it's like hard because I don't know what, like there's different strategies, right? You go higher. Oh,
There's a maximum.
maximum of 50.
So you're telling me
Okay.
that China Beach is making $20 million a month and people at the most she can charge is $50? God, there's a lot of freaks out there. I love it. I love this world so much.
So within OnlyFans, you can also have other price things. Like you can do like blocked photos that they have to like pay to unlock, and like there's other ways to get money too. But
I
yeah,
gotcha.
anyways, there's I've learned so much. But yeah, so between 5 and 50. If you go higher, obviously you're looking for like those hardcore fans that are just like there for, you know what I mean? And like if you go lower, you're kind of looking for people who are just like down to just stay just because. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's different like strategies here.
Shit.
So
This is like-
mine is 25. I went middle.
25. You got
25 a
20
month.
some people, 30 some people paying $25 a month to check out your feet. I love this world. By the way, I've seen some of these feet pics and they're fantastic. They're very tasteful.
Thank you.
They're beautiful
Thank you.
locations. You're not, you're not
No.
like doing anything like that's, I think, off taste or off brand. You're just like got your feet hanging out there on these rad climbs. That's going to be the hard
It's-
thing for
yeah.
me. How often do you post?
I try to post once a week.
I'm posting every day.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. I mean, you could also do the same. You could go 25 a month. We could go, head for head.
All right,
if you'd
head
like.
for head. I'm going 25.
Let's go head for head.
Okay, head for head,
Yeah.
25 a month, but I'm going to post every fucking day. And
Jesus.
5 out of 7 of those pictures are just going to be my feet on the carpet
Yeah.
in my podcast closet. So get ready for
You did
that.
like a beach foot picture though, where you were like shirtless and shit. I'm like, I don't even go that hard. I literally just dangle from a rock, and I'm like, this is what you get. I'm like fully clothed. I'm in a turtleneck. Like, look, like literally, I'm in this turtleneck, and I'm like, these are my feet.
Yeah.
Like
I
you're
like that,
like,
though. That's like unfiltered. Well, I did bank.
Yeah.
So you and I had this conversation right before I went on spring break with the family to Florida.
Yeah.
And so while I was there, considering this insane thing that we're still talking about, I'm so sorry everybody has to listen to this, but like this is my like life coaching session right now. Or it's just truly like a live look at the downfall of a man. Like you're just watching me completely unravel as a human being right now. Either way, it's great entertainment.
either way, it's entertainment. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. And so like, it's really a win-win situation.
It's give the people what they want, as long as they're buying their Boulder Bears, it doesn't matter if
Hell
I'm,
yeah.
my kids will disown me. So this happened right before we went on vacation. So when I was there, I was like, I banked a ton of beautiful like beach, happy toes in the sand and like splashing in the water.
Yeah.
But now I'm back here. So is it okay if I post photos that aren't, it's not like, like be real. I don't have to post photos from this moment. I can post beautiful photos from a month ago, right?
For sure. Yeah. And you can even like space those out. Like you get one beautiful photo a week, and then there's 6 like photos from like, each other day. You know what I mean? Like what
like
I
that.
do is I just get inspired. I like my feet catch the sun in such a way that inspires me. And, I'm in Thailand, I'm in Japan. I don't know. I'm somewhere. I'm like, my feet look so sexy right now. I'm going to take a picture for the
I love
fans.
it.
And then I'll put a little caption that doesn't make sense. I'll write a poem or something.
Yes. Oh, good. Well,
Yeah.
see,
I also, you know what I do sometimes, which is kind of like crazy, is like sometimes I just give them my tick list from the week, like for climbing. Like I don't tell anyone my tick, like that's not something I'm posting right now. And I'm all like, these bitches want to know how hard I'm climbing right now. So I just like put a bunch of tick lists with like how many attempts it took. And I'm like, yeah, like I like use it just to brag. I'm like, this is my ego trip. Like y'all are paying to see my feet. Like if you know what climbs I'm climbing, like you're like, how'd you know that? It's like, well, she puts it on her own, on her, like it's safe, secret safe. For them.
Yes.
I tell them whatever I want.
I love that. Okay, now I got to think about. I got to think about like opening up in ways that I haven't opened up with others. Just
It's
to my
freeing.
OnlyFans. I'm just so nervous. Nobody's gonna sign up. It's gonna
I mean,
be
maybe.
such an ego hit.
And then we'll know who wins, and it'll be like, you know, it'll show who's the better person, really.
No, you're fucking going down. All right. I needed that injection of competitiveness right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going hard, but the problem is I can't advertise it on Instagram because I'll banned, right? Right.
Yeah.
Or
And
blocked.
I
or
wouldn't do it on YouTube. I don't know. I think what we did with the foot, like if you do a little clip of this of like, we're going head to head, foot pics,
Yeah.
OnlyFans, you know what to do.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
a Hazelnutt, Ryan Devlin, like you can put that up with, but like you can't like explicitly tell people to go. You can't link it. You can't, you know what I mean? Like it's got to be
Right.
like,
You got to find it. You got to know.
it's
You
tasteful
know enough from
advertisement.
watching this clip right now that you and I are going head to head with some feet pics, and who's it gonna be?
Who's
is
gonna
it
win?
Gonna be?
Check this out. I'm wearing these like rad boots. I
Yeah.
bet the internet wants to see me take those puppies off.
And you can, or forget it, because I'm posting daily foot pics over on my OnlyFans, and I just tried on some really tight new shoes that I got from Scarpa, the Veloce lace-ups, and so I've got
Yep.
purple bruises under both of my big toenails right now. Boom.
That's hard to beat. That's hard to beat.
Symmetrical climber bruises on both big toes. If that's your thing, you know, if you're into that kind of thing, you know where to find it.
May the best feet win.
You're welcome, internet.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about that for a while. It gives me joy.
All right, so we've settled that thing. Let's talk about a little bit what's in the climbing news, then we can wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
This has been
let's do it.
exactly what I wanted it to be, which is just such a fun hour of joy. Yeah, just hanging out. By the way, here's something that we should do, an assignment for next time we do this. We should have your AI program come up with like a feet pick rivalry theme song.
We could do a different theme song for every podcast we do. Like we could just start it off with doing a theme song.
Oh, that's
Like,
fun.
Yeah, we'll just
like
do
that.
that. We could try
Great.
it. And if we're bored, we just don't do it. Like we can just casually commit to it now and then
We make
decide
the
that's not
rules.
it later. Yeah.
It's
So
our rules.
next, I think the first order of business will be making a foot pick song. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
should be the first order of business on every day. Okay, so let's talk about the news for a second. I got a few things on my list here. You probably got some things on your list. You're tapped into the climbing world more directly than I am. I talk with all these people, but you are these people. But one of the things that jumped out to me was the speed climb record was just broken by Sam Watson, U.S. climber. 4.798 seconds to do
Yes, I saw that post.
that route. I mean, I know a lot of
Oh my
people dump on
God.
speed climbing or whatever, but I am like fucking impressed by speed. Like it doesn't look real when they're doing this thing. Like if you got on that route,
Yeah.
I went to a gym, like got on the route, I'm like, oh God, this is like a hard ass route. It's taking me forever to climb, and it looks like they're just
Yeah.
like running up it. So like sub 5 seconds, you know, and beat the prior record. I don't know. I'm just like impressed with that.
Oh my gosh, it's so impressive. Yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely, I think, because it was part of the Olympic like trilogy thing. I don't know what we call it, trio. That I think it was like getting a lot of shit because it's like, oh, all these climbers now have to like start doing this thing they didn't do, like, you know. So, but like,
Right.
yeah, speed climbing is legit. Speed climbing is wild. I have a friend we met and we keep in touch virtually, and she made it to the Olympics for speed climbing, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Like, this is crazy. Like watching her climb is just so exciting. Like she comes up in my feed and I'm like, oh, she's just like so fast. Yeah, it's like anti-gravity. It takes so much training, and like imagine, like, you know, when we go projecting outside and we're like on our like 15th session. I don't even know. I have like 12 sessions, 12th session on a climb. And we're just like banging our heads against this climb. They climbed this. Do you know how many times they must climb that climb? Do you know what I mean? Just like put that in perspective. It's like the amount of dedication to that singular climb is like more than you'll ever do for any project times like 1,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's so true. It's like
I don't know, just putting it in my, like in words that I understand, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you're projecting the same thing nonstop, but how cool,
Forever.
like, I'm sure like the lesson to take, there's, I'm sure a number of lessons that you could take over into like kind of regular projecting, if you will. But like, yeah, finding like having the curiosity to want to continue to like refine movements, even though you know it's pretty freaking good already, like really, really good, but like, let me try and get 1% more or 0.5%. There's something really cool about that. I'm sure it takes a certain type of personality because like I tend to lose like interest and I want to try and find like the next shiny thing. But like for people who can just continually try to improve at something like that, it's, God, I'm just like, I find it so admirable.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So
Okay,
good
what
job,
else
Sam.
you got?
Michaela Kiersch. Michaela just like over the show,
Yes.
sending the gnar. Yeah, what's your takeaway on Michaela?
I've never met her or talked to her, but I would love to.
Yeah.
She's like such an inspiration for me because she's like doing like a lot of sport climbing and I'm like kind of phasing into the sport climbing mode and I've like some of the climbs I'm trying like Necessary Evil, I've seen her video on it so many times. I stole some of her beta. Thank you, Michaela. And like it's just like so cool seeing her crush through like so many of these climbs like in a row. Like she's obviously top form. Like she's going to Catalunya, she's putting down these like top end routes again and again. And it's just like, oh, it's amazing. Her and Paige Klassen, I'm so inspired by because there's just like women that are out there doing the thing. Oh my gosh, good for her. I like right when I see a video of her on YouTube, like click, like watch it. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's so incredible. And I'm like touching some of the holds that like, you know, she climbed whatever, like 5-10 years ago. I don't know how long ago she did this climb. And I'm like, oh my God, like, and she's just gone up from there. Both of them have. And it's really
so
cool to see
impressive.
that
And
progression.
both of them like doing Dreamcatcher basically like within the
Exactly.
same like day or two. And I just talked
Yeah.
to Paige. We haven't released that episode yet, but I just had a great interview
Oh.
with Paige and she's like
Amazing.
mega inspiring. She was out in Smith not too long ago. Did you cross paths?
She was here just before I was, but I crossed paths with her, one of her climbing partners, and then we linked up and that was cool. And I was like fangirling. I was like, like you get to climb with Paige. And she's just dying laughing. She's like, she's just a person. I'm like, oh, I know. It's just like, I would love to meet her. Like,
They're so rad. They're such crushers, and like they
They're
just have
so
such a great
cool.
outlook too. Like after talking with Michaela and Paige, and then I spent some time with Michaela out here. She was out here at the Red when Chris Sharma was out
That's
here
right.
doing like a Prana thing, and we got to spend some time together at the
Yeah.
Crag. And both of them, I just like, and Michaela just posted like it was her birthday, and she had like a cupcake, and she's just like, she blasts the haters on her Instagram that are like slamming her for
oh
fighting
yeah.
it.
I do like when she like swipes into like a hate comment. Like there's like a badass photo. There's like a funny hate comment. There's another
Yeah.
badass photo. I think that's fucking hilarious. That's
It's
great.
so good.
Because like no one's exempt. Like I was having this conversation the other day. Like I feel like the main like shit I get aside from like my looks, I guess, which is like that's just like every woman especially is gonna get that. But like aside from that is that I'm like the weakest pro climber ever. You know, like I don't know. Like people just like hate the fact that people are calling me a pro climber. I don't know. I get really like insecure around that word because I don't feel like I'm a pro climber. I don't feel like I'm at that level yet. But like, yeah, I get a ton of hate for that. And then of course, like I'm like, oh, these like people climbing, you know, 9A plus whatever, like they probably never get that. And then there's Michaela like swiping and then it's that. And I'm
It's
like,
the same
oh,
exact thing.
it's just never gonna go away. Okay.
Totally.
And I don't know, for me, like kind of like maybe coming up into this world like very recently, it's like it's really comforting to see that like it's not just like me being targeted in this way. It's just like it's the internet. Maybe it's being a woman as well. Maybe it's a lot of things, but it's like something I just have to like not take like earnestly. And I know it's like obvious. Like everyone could, yeah. Go for it.
That's how you know you are a pro climber, is because you're getting those comments. I feel like if you weren't getting those comments, you'd be like, okay, I'm not a pro climber yet until somebody starts telling me that I'm too weak to be a pro climber. Now that they're saying you're too weak to be a pro climber, you are a pro climber, because that's when people start getting that kind of bullshit. And I mean, obviously you are. You're a pro climber. You're a sponsored climber. You're putting up incredible content and you're like climbing incredible things around the world. So I I understand, like we all have
It's-
a little bit of a discomfort around maybe putting ourselves in a class where there are people that we've just always looked up to and this kind of thing. But I certainly look up to you as a pro climber, and I think a lot of people
Thanks,
do,
Ryan.
especially women and girls. And so, yeah, I mean, the hate comments are interesting, though. Like you and I were talking about this the other day, just
Yeah.
some comments that were on like the YouTube videos, and it does seem to be disproportionately aimed at, not exclusively, but disproportionately aimed at the women in the sport, which I just interviewed Beth Rodden, and like, I don't know, like there's just been a long history of it, which is unfortunate, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go anywhere, except for people like you and Michaela, for example, like not letting it take your power, like almost taking it and using it and having fun with it. Then it takes those trolls and kind of puts them in their place, you know?
Totally. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, we were just, talking about that YouTube video that you posted of like our interview, and like there was like a whole thread on like really inappropriate comments about my appearance and like sleeping with me, question mark. It's just like that flavor of comment where you're just like, God, like we are still there, aren't we? It's, but at the same time, just play with it. Like it's really nice to like get to a point where you're not taking these comments seriously, and you're just like, oh, these, like, how sad that they have to comment that, and then kind of like put it back on them, because it's just projection, at the end of the day. So
yeah, well, we'll see how I handle
learning.
it. When people start commenting on my feet, we'll see what kind of character I have, how much insecurities I have, as people start lobbing bombs about the appearance of my feet. I'll probably come to you for a little advice on how to handle it.
Yeah, I got you.
Michaela. Okay, last thing I've got in the news here, the more recent news, is that Tom Randall, our buddy Tom, is out in Berlin doing a bunch of like urban crack climbing, this kind of thing.
That actually reminds me, there's like an urban climbing bridge here that gives me an idea. I'm like, I should go to it. Like, I should make a YouTube video on that.
Is it a crack climb, or does it have holds on it?
No, it has holds on it. Like, it's like a set route on this like
rad.
bridge that goes over. I know, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm just like that. Just, anyways, that's my content creator head on. I'm like, oh, like you're right. We should do more of that. That's cool. But yeah, I think it's great. I think it's cool. I mean, like, city by city basis, right? Because you've got people climbing buildings that are like illegal to climb. There's like all this, I don't know how much we can promote that. I mean, I know I used to climb the buildings at my university a lot because access, right? Like I could just go and do that at night and hope I didn't get caught and, ticketed or whatever it is they would do to me, suspended. Right. I don't know. But
that's
I think it's
used
really
to train.
cool.
Before there were gyms, is you would find like a brick wall that had holes.
Yeah.
Or I think like Randy Levitt and some guys used to like, there was like this parking garage that had like cracks and hand jams and stuff that they would work around.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you kind of just did it because that's what existed. It's like skateboarders used to skate in the old swimming pools before there were skate parks. And you know, the sport has evolved, but there is still something cool about that. I guess you're right. You have to like get permits and these kinds of things. I'm assuming Tom does that when he goes out to like film something in Berlin.
Especially if he's filming it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's so cool. I lived in Barcelona for a while, like a year and a half, and there was this tunnel called La Foixarda that has a bunch of glued holds on it, and it's like a kind of an artist thing. They don't even drive through the tunnel anymore. Like they put up like, those block pillars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, so motorcycles can still drive through, but it's like lead and boulder tunnel, like
cool.
El Tunel. Yeah, and it's like so awesome. And I remember going there on Christmas because I was a transplant there, and I didn't really have a family to spend Christmas with, and I was just like, I'll just go to the tunnel with some friends, and like everyone kind of was there because all the gyms were closed, and it was just this cool like secondary meeting place that was super accessible to people like me who didn't have a car. Like I just used the metro everywhere. So I think that is a really cool community building thing as well, where you're kind of outside, but it's accessible, it's cheap. Like I actually walked there. Like I took the metro to the main plaza, and then I just like walked up without even a crash pad. Like I was like, oh, you could just traverse the bottom, and if someone has a rope, like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's really cool to have those, more accessible places for community building and just like having that outdoor experience without needing to like have the means, I guess, to get further out to the mountains.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I'll look for his content when it comes out. And if you get over and shoot that bridge, share it on Patreon. I'm a patron, so I'll see it. And anybody who's listening, whether it's, supporting our friendly rivalry on OnlyFans or just joining up our Patreons, we're going to release the full video of this conversation on each of our Patreons. So you get to see it. You get to see the insane, me setting up my OnlyFans page. But you also get to see, Anna and I, as we're chatting and having this conversation, the beautiful trees and view behind her. And hey, let's talk again in a few weeks, and more. But like, what's your plan for the next few weeks? Are you staying out in Smith?
Yeah, I'll be here till June 6th or so. Such is my plan right now. And yeah, the weather's going up and down. So when it hits around 65 in the park, that's a good monkey day. So I'll be hopping on Just Do It. But casually, like, I needed a mental break. So like, I'll just be hopping on, playing on hard moves, just like having a lot of fun, pushing my limit in a way that's like, hopefully not too emotionally like damaging and breaking me. And then on the hotter days, maybe I'll be like doing some cliff jumps, just like having fun, maybe go indoors, maybe like find some shade in aggro gully, hop on something there. I don't know. It's like pretty loose plans, but that's like my life for the next month. It's basically climb one day, work one day, like one day on, one day off. So that's me. I know, it's fantastic. And depending on weather is where I'll be. And no goals other than just like joy, which I think is important because I'm going to buckle down and I'm going to do some training and I'm going to like really go after like a project. But right now, this spring, it's just joy. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like in this, like this, the spring is turning to summer here. I am excited to get into like a training block. Like, let's like, like I want to lift weights really hard for like probably a month, 6 weeks. Yeah, just like.
Get it.
There's like this kind of Steve Bechtel 4 days a week you lift. So it's like day 1.
Whoa.
You do 5 sets of 2 reps. And day 2, you do 2 sets of 5 reps. And you take a day off and then you repeat. So it's actually not like total volume. It's not a lot, but it's lifting focus. It's very heavy lifting focus. But I feel like, I don't know, I just kind of want to do that. And like my finger's been a little tweaky, so that would probably be good for me too. And then I'm on the fence. I'm going to talk to Tom about this. I'm on the fence on this summer, whether I should continue to train up strength, which is a weakness of mine, or put like go down the rabbit hole on endurance, which I'm kind of leaning towards because the Red River Gorge is so, pumpy. And I know I would benefit from getting stronger, and I'll still probably do 1 day a week, like on the Moonboard or, TB2 or something like that. But I feel like I might want to go down like an endurance rabbit hole. So,
when is the next time you're planning on climbing outside?
I mean, I try to get out, like even in the summer, I'll try to get out like.
Oh, you'll get out in the summer.
But like
when does season start again?
I mean, October.
Yeah, you got some time.
I don't
know. See what Tom says, but I would say just do pure, like focus on strength for like
a while.
Just focus on strength for a while. And then like as you're revving up for the season, like build that endurance. Cause like I think what people don't realize sometimes too is that like the strength really helps with endurance because like if you think about it, you're just getting stronger on worse holds so you can hold bigger holds for longer. It like and if that's a weakness of yours, like it's probably worth looking into. That's what I mean, like tell me what Tom says, because that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm going to finish up my Smith season, and then I'm going to do, a little training block. I'm probably going to hit Tuolumne first, and then come home and do a training block and kind of prepare for, like, fall season. And I'm, like, thinking I'm going to do strength, and then I'm going to do a quick little, like, fun staycation at Squamish and do some fun climbing for, like, 2 weeks or something, and then come back and then do strength, but then shift that into, like, power endurance, and then rage for fall, I guess, like to really try to focus in on a project, whether that's necessary or just do, like just a hard project that I gonna have to focus in on. So
sick.
That's that's what I would say. Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I think that's a really good perspective. I think, maybe we'll kind of track our training alongside our goals here and alongside our OnlyFans, of course, which is why people are here in the first place.
That's the whole reason this exists.
All of those very serious goals.
This podcast, it's just one big advertisement for my OnlyFans / your OnlyFans. Like, that's all this is. We're like, how do we get around not being able to advertise on Instagram and YouTube? And I'm like, we just create an entire podcast, and every week, we like just touch up on it, and we remind people that they should probably subscribe because they want to see my feet dangling from Just Do It. Yeah,
totally.
That's the reason this exists.
That's great. We packaged all of this work has just been like the longest road to try and get you a few more OnlyFans subs. Yeah. Which allows you to extend your Smith trip, which is all good. It's all for the greater good.
It is. It is. I tell them thank you all the time. Like, thank you. I'm still here. Thank you for letting me climb without much work. I appreciate that.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
This has been such a joy as always. Thanks, Anna. Good to see you.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. We'll catch up soon then.
Gear, it's time to soar, time to climb. Anna and Ryan got the roots to adore. Scaling walls with hose galore, cheeky banter, laughs and more. So don't be scared of the height you're in, gripping tight, feel your heart's wild.
Oh my God, we made it. We made it together through our first ever Crag Chat with Anna and Ryan. I hope you guys liked that. I hope you enjoyed that as much as Anna and I enjoyed it. It was just a freaking blast. The hour flew by. And if you would like to hear more of these, if you thought it was kind of a fun way to touch on climbing, but also just goof around and have a little entertainment, a little light entertainment in our otherwise structure-filled, performance-addled lives as rock climbers and just humans, let us know. You can watch this interview, by the way, on Anna's Patreon and my Patreon. If you support us, you can see the full video and all sorts of other cool bonus stuff that we are offering. So check that out. You can also support us on our OnlyFans. Well, at least on Anna's OnlyFans. I still haven't decided at the time of recording this, which is about 5 hours before I hit the publish button, on whether I'm actually going to go through with this OnlyFans thing. I have been collecting feet pics. I just don't think my ego can take it if nobody signs up. Maybe I'll hit publish, and if nobody signs up in like the next week, I'll just pull it down, just, you know, to protect my ego. I don't know. We'll see. You certainly don't have to go over and do it. Please don't do it. In fact, go support Anna's. But if, as a joke, and for a good cause, because I'm going to give the money to Access Fund or Red River Gorge Climbers Coalition or somebody, I'll figure that out and I'll share that as well. But if you want to do that, then you can maybe find mine if I have a shot of whiskey and go through and hit the publish button. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for supporting Anna and me, the struggle, and all of the stuff that she's doing. Check out Boulder Bears, grab yourself some caffeinated gummies and get out there and be wacky and have fun on your projects and send them home. And I hope you are having an awesome, awesome day. I'll see you soon.